And welcome back for another video, where today we're gonna discuss a new what if. A what if that's gonna change a timeline. Well, in this what if, we're gonna change a lot of things and how it impacts WWE as a whole. And welcome back, guys, and again, this is Mikeratto, and welcome to my new video, where today we're going to discuss what if Undertaker was beaten by Kane at WrestleMania 14. Rather, what if Kane defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania 14? How will it change the Brothers of Destruction saga? How will this affect the future storylines of The Undertaker, especially the streak being ended so early in his career? What will happen to the challengers of the streak? Will it have the same relevance? Will The Undertaker look strong even though he was defeated at Mania? Well, here we go. Everything goes well at the build up, at the storyline. It had the same showing on television, from the build up of Bad Blood 1997 to Kane's debut and Kane destroying The Undertaker multiple times. Though, yes, it will be both brothers' best of revenge for The Undertaker for the last few months of Kane actually torturing him, destroying him, and even lighting him on fire. While for Kane, on his behalf, for all the times that he felt the burns while it placed to his head, every day that he thinks his body was burned by that fire, even though the psychological burns are intact with his head and not the burns that said were physical. And each day it haunts him that The Undertaker burned their family on fire. His parents, Kane's half mother, half father, well, it's actually his mother, and his father, Paul Bearer, is accompanying him to accomplish this. Kane will win at Mania in this timeline. That means the streak is over before it actually became a huge deal at that time. And that means that the brothers will continue their feud, and this extended feud will raise actually Kane's stock. Though at that time it was actually built, he was actually built just to have a credible opponent for The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And yeah, we just made this credible opponent beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So what will be the next event? Well, The Undertaker will still hunt for Kane, which, well, it will lead with their Inferno match later on, which The Undertaker will win that match for his revenge. And it's actually ironic that his brother was set again on fire just like in real life. But this will lead to a longer Kane title run. I know Austin is over by this point, but considering that I think he has an injury with his arm, I'm not sure if it is legit or not. The staph infection, which occurred in 1998. Well, if he is injured by that point, we'll let him rest for some time and actually made this monster a huge run. Though the person himself, well, he doesn't have the thing for world title runs, but for his character, well, it works, because if you made this monster a champion, just like how they did with the Fiend this year, he had this, semi-lengthy run. And if you had Kane with a longer run and actually demolishing every competition in that time, well, you have a champion which Undertaker and Austin will have to put out and destroy him So Kane wins the title at the Hell in a Cell match, a first blood match, which, yeah, because the Hell in a Cell was lowered down during that match, and that means Kane will have a huge title run. The next night, though, instead of a clean decision, Mankind will actually made the disqualification finish by assaulting Austin. Thus, the Undertaker will help Austin, and he will have a stare down between the brothers yet again, while Paul Bearer is cutting a promo, now building up this new match between Kane, Undertaker, and Mankind for the next pay-per-view, which obviously Kane will still retain his title by pinning Mankind. Because, well, even though the two will handicap the Undertaker at that match, well, yeah, the brothers, well, even though they're opponents and Mankind still there, well, Mankind and Kane double team the Undertaker, and Undertaker tried to take out Mankind. Only that for Kane to take advantage and pinning Mankind after Undertaker demolishing him. And for the next pay-per-view, while Kane vs. The Undertaker happened again, and yeah, Kane wins via cheap tactics this time, which, well, this extends his title run. And when Austin is ready to return, I think by this time also they have this Austin McMahon rivalry, which, well, this will actually have a huge thing for Austin's popularity, because when he is actually chasing for the title, people are more invested in him. Even though he's still a champion, the time, well, people are actually invested in him regardless. So Kane, well, he is a dominant champion regardless in this timeline, and they won't have the Brothers of Destruction reunion here just yet. Well, since the brothers are still feuding, and we will extend this rivalry. And then, yeah, at Judgment Day, The Undertaker and Paul Bearer, in real life, well, they turned on Kane. But in this instance, well, since The Undertaker is actually making the Ministry of Darkness and is forming something on the WWE that time, well, it made sense to give the title to The Undertaker after his Ministry of Darkness something persona. Or if they won't have The Undertaker beat Kane here, well, you can have Austin beat Kane, and then the screw job will happen at the next, well, the tournament in real life, which The Rock win. Well, they can have that screw job reenact at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, something like that, to build off the corporation. And then, yeah, Mr. McMahon screwing Austin again in his title match, or have Mankind, if he is now a babyface due to Kane and The Undertaker's rivalry, and Kane actually turning on Mankind during their triple threat match, with Paul Bearer and Kane now focusing on each other instead of their tag team partner of crime, Mankind. Which, if he turned face and wins this match, well, he will have a short title run, which, yeah, The Rock and Vince McMahon will create the corporation, thus creating the move of corporate elbow and everything towards that. And when the corporation was formed, well, otherwise, well, during that time also, the Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness group will also slowly grow. So they will have that rivalry like in real life in the 1999. And as for Kane, well, he will slowly go what he did in real life, or he can still be on the main event scene. But because of Austin's popularity and The Rock's popularity this time, well, he can set aside just like in real life, and he can participate in the upper card or mid card during the time. Well, for the time being, while it will have the same effect, at least we build him up to be this credible champion. And yeah, but also don't think that I will put him on the lower card and something like that for WrestleMania 15. Not because that the upper cards at this time are still rising and stars are actually being made. Austin, The Rock, Mankind during this time. That means that Kane will be go to the undercard or something like lower card or even the mid card, or just he will be on the upper mid card but not the lower or middle mid card. Why? Well, because it will be a huge deal that the Kane actually defeated the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That means that he will still be built as strong as ever and he won't lose any unnecessary matches or rivalries that will make him look weak. If the Brothers of Destruction in this timeline are actually helping each other out in their Ministry of Darkness plan, and by this time also while the brothers while they will reconcile by the time of 1999 we will change a lot of things in this timeline, and instead Kane will join the Ministry of Darkness instead of the corporation. Why? Well, we know that the brothers hated each other, but with Paul Bearer by the side of them, and yeah, Paul Bearer, well, in this timeline, also kind of betrayed Kane, well, or somehow not, as I mentioned earlier, well, Paul Bearer can still play a thing on Kane's head, which will convince him to join the Undertaker, and when they have the WWE in their hands, while his brother will promise him something that he could not well regret or something like that. If the Undertaker is the chairman or something like that or the owner of the said company, while Kane can wrestle for the championship and the WWE championship. That means that Kane is like the right hand of the Undertaker in this Ministry of Darkness. And Kane will also act, and whoever betrays the Ministry of Darkness like the Brood, he will destroy them in the ring to warn the other members of the ministry, and he will actually do the Undertaker's deeds. That will be his storyline for then. And when the Undertaker's WWE Championship in real life happens, well, the Undertaker wins the title and Kane will try to protect him, but a group of babyfaces, The Rock, Austin, and etc. will help Austin to retain his title during their rivalry or regain, may I add, just to have the star powers in that match. When the ministry will form the corporate ministry in this timeline, well, yeah, it may or it may not happen, but the higher power being Vince McMahon, well, it will not happen in this timeline. Though, yeah, it will happen, but yeah, it's strange that after the corporate ministry actually announcing Vince as the higher power, it slowly died out. The storyline died out. The group disbanded and all of that. And if that same thing actually happened here, well, you can see the unholy alliance between the Brothers of Destruction and the Big Show dominating most of the time in 1999, well, before Undertaker, while he was injured by that point, and he will return later as the American Badass. And yeah, and then Kane, as for him, though Paul Bearer is still there, well, he will try to have a face turn in 1999 and he will face the Big Show, Triple H, and then he will have a second WWE Championship run instead of the Big Show here. before being defeated by Triple H due to the interference of the entire D-Generation X Hemsley McMahon era Mr. the Stephanie Triple H group, that group that will cost Kane the championship, and it will actually prove a huge face turn for him, though he is a face champion by that time. And yeah, he will have the same storyline from 2000s up to forward. Well, since The Rock, Triple H, Austin are now huge thing for the upper cards, and a lot of people are actually being elevated by that time. Well, I think he will go for the same storyline in 2000s up to forwards, and he will enjoy this face run until he turned heel later on in 2000 and then turned face in 2001 when the brothers joined each other again. So that will be my alternate timeline of what if Kane defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania 14. I hope you all enjoyed this. Like this video, comment down below, share, subscribe, and share, and also click on the bell to stay notified. Subscribe and subscribe. Thank you, peace, and this is Mikeratto.